Hey everyone, it's TB Shores. I know it's been a few weeks since I put anything up. Um, I did come across something that I felt led to share with you. It's not that I haven't been receiving anything because the Lord has really been showing me some new things in the scriptures that actually I had never seen before, and it's really quite interesting. But He's teaching me right now, so therefore, I don't feel led to um, put it in a video, not as of yet anyway. I've had a lot of dreams. Um, wow, the dreams are just really blowing my mind. A lot of them are personal, giving me personal learning and understanding of things. Um, kind of like, what the Lord will have me do later, and even what the bride will be doing and different things. But until the Lord prompts me to put these things out, I'm just sitting on them right now. But I did want to share this. I felt led to share this. It ties back into some other studies that I have done where I spoke of the high places, Nepal, when the quakes happened in Nepal, and how the Lord was showing us about the high places and what the Lord showed me through that. And it took us to the United States, and the Lord showed us that the high places in the United States go from east to west. New York is New York and California are two of Satan's seats, Satan's high places in the United States, and how through showing me all these things, even back into the time of Hezekiah, we looked at Ahaz, who ruled before Hezekiah, and how he set up these high places, which was all about worshiping strange gods, um, and doing sacrifices to these strange gods. And then how Hezekiah came in and he cleaned all these defilements out of the kingdom. But what I want to show you right now is something that is in our news that goes right along with all this, okay? And I believe it was yesterday that it was announced that Obama is changing the name of North America's highest mountain peak from Mount McKinley to Denali, which means great one, and its origin is Indian Sanskrit, and it's the primary sacred language of Hindu. Now, I want to take you up here to the computer and show you. Here's where I found it, right here where we see Denali means great one. I also found at another place it meant high one. But so here by this we learn that Obama is marking a high place, and this is the highest peak in North America, and he's renaming it, and the meaning of this name is Great One. Well, I found, oh wow, a connection here. As we look at this, let's just dig a little deeper, and we see that it is of the Indian Sanskrit. And right now I want to show you what I saw there. When we go to, wrong one. When we go and we look up just Indian Sanskrit, this is what we get. This right here. I was thinking I already had that pulled, but maybe I didn't. But what I want to point out is right here, as we see, it is the sacred language of Hindu. All right, when we go into Hinduism, excuse me, we see Nepal mentioned. It says Hinduism is the dominant religion or way of life in South Asia, most notably in India and Nepal. See, there we see Nepal again. And remember when the quakes happened in Nepal? You can go back and look at my videos. I did a whole series of videos that included some information on that. Let me show you. If you go back and you start at this video, which was, I think, began in April. I started with second Passover and sanctification. And second Passover, we get into talking about Hezekiah and how he cleaned all the high places out of the kingdom and all that Ahaz had defiled the kingdom with. I'm trying to give you a rundown here. If I can, I don't know if I can get this thing to work like I need it to. Okay, and then here we have some on second Passover. But if you just go back and rewatch these, it'll take you from everything that I covered. Let's see, where's the one? Here's the one, I believe, where I covered the Nepal quake. The shaking has begun. The Lord was just showing us he had begun shaking the high places. It was a symbolic message from the Lord, okay? And then he showed me the land of gold in high places, and that's when he drew me to understand how the United States, Satan had set up high places in the United States. And I covered a lot of that. You can see the videos that I did on this. And these all tie in together. And they take us to understand about, especially in New York, where the World Trade Center is, and what happened with 9/11. The Lord took me to make this series of videos. So, and I didn't get into great depth. It was like a surface understanding, connecting the dots, so to speak, so that we could understand. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought I had messed up. We're good. Sorry about that. So that we could understand how all these things, even from Ahaz and Hezekiah, how it ties into the modern day and what we can see Satan doing in this day to set up his so-called kingdom and cause this deception that is coming. But here we see where I talked about the United States high places. Now, when we start getting into the Oculus and the World Trade Center, it is opening up understanding how this is all connected to Satan and things of the occult. And it goes back to the Illuminati. Here we got a clear connection here to the Illuminati. But all these videos that I made, they may seem boring to some of you, but you've got to try to understand how this connects to today and what's fixing to happen. The Lord, he took me on to talk about how we see, let me see if I can get to some of the later ones. Right here. The autumnal equinox and Yom Kippur, I mentioned that, and that's coming up, September 23rd. And the Lord showed me that back in this video. And I've always felt that something significant would happen during this time. And one thing that helps confirm that is what we see God's Healer 7 put out. Those messages from the Lord, those prophecies are getting very in our face as of the day, so to speak. That's why I felt a need to bring this up as to what Obama had done and what he had named this mountain peak and why it is significant. But here, when I get into talking about CERN, this video right here, and we go on to talk about connections with the ancient gods and the Bible today, I know those are not the most interesting things, but you need to listen really close. Go back and listen to those because they shed a lot of light as to what went on in the Old Testament, in the scriptures, where we see the worship of strange gods. That was all about the fallen and how they had set themselves up as gods and how that is fixing to happen again. And God's Healer 7 put out a message today entitled The Coming of the Angels of Rebellion. And if you go listen to that, you we'll see kind of what I'm talking about here. Things are starting to come together. We are getting very close to the time that we as the bride have been waiting for. But it's important, I think, that we put these things out so that people can understand how the scriptures ties into today. And what I want to show you is like what I'm showing you here with what Obama has done. He has named this highest mountain peak in North America Denali, which means the great one. Now, what I wanted to show you from there is where we get into this ancient, well, this Indian Sanskrit. Let me see if I can't find exactly what I'm looking for. Here we go. Let me back up a little so you can see. I don't want you to think that it's back where we were at Hinduism, okay? And we see that Nepal is the capital of Hinduism, okay? I've got all my videos cover that, from the one that I showed you where it all begins. Let me go show you again, because I think you need to go rewatch all of these. Starting right with this one. It began in April. Second Passover, number 1, second Passover and sanctification. And all these take you through a series of things that lead us to where things are today, where Satan is setting himself up today. All right. I'm trying to think some of the other things it covered. But if you give these a look, you'll see very clearly how the Old Testament is a picture of what we are fixing to see today, or in these days ahead, okay? Let me get back to this one that I was wanting to talk about here. Okay, we see our tie back to Nepal with the Hinduism, and I guess this just excites me because I know all that the Lord had taught me back in April, beginning with the great shaking of Nepal, and how that led me to understand how Satan had set up his high seats, his high places in the United States. And I tried to share all that with you, and I hope that it was of interest to you and was a blessing to you. But I'm telling you, we're at a point where the things the Lord has shown me are even more real to me now than they were when I did these videos, because of what I've seen in this name and what Obama did. We want to, let's see, clicked on, I want to go down here to, give me a moment, this. Okay, we're still under Hinduism, and we're going to look at concept of God. Now, the thing I want to point out to you, I'm trying to show you the connection between what Obama did and what is going on, okay? And I covered the pineal gland and the eye of Horus and the Oculus and the World Trade Center, and how all these things tie in together. And most people don't even begin to even think about it, let alone try to understand it. But right here we can see Hinduism. It says they worship the supreme being. It says the supreme being. Okay? What we're seeing here, the supreme being, variously as, these are just different names. This, and I can't even begin to pronounce them. Okay? I'm not even going to try. But you can see them right here. But here's the one I want us to focus on right now. Here we see Shiva, or Shiva. People pronounce it differently. But what that connects us to is deities of Hinduism. And what I wanted to point out, let's see, I'm thinking it's on here. Yes. Okay, where we saw that Denali means great one, I want you to see what Shiva means. Great God, which is basically the same meaning with one word change. And it says, is one of the main deities of Hinduism. Okay? Now, I think most of us that are keeping up with what's going on, we clearly understand the connection of Shiva or Shiva to give me a minute here. Pull this up. Bear with me just a minute. We clearly understand the connection to CERN and Shiva, because this is the statue of Shiva that stands outside of the CERN laboratory. Okay, so here we clearly see a connection of Bamah and the name that he gave this highest peak in North America, and how it connects us back to Hinduism and the false god Shiva, which actually is all about the fallen again. Okay, it's connected to the Large Hadron Collider, which we know as CERN. Of course, y'all can see there's a lot to look into concerning this. But I wanted to point this out to you so that you would clearly understand that what our president did, there is a hidden meaning here. And we can blow it off, or we can look at it for what it is and understand what is taking place in this day that we live in. The scriptures are playing out right before us, and we need to be following the trail because God is clearly laying it out for us to understand. I love y'all, and if the Lord leads, I'll share some dreams and some things I'm seeing in the scriptures that are new and exciting. But I'm waiting on the Lord on that. I love y'all. Bye-bye.